Every once in a while you feel like you're in the perfect mood for a low budget licensed anime game from back in the day, at least I do. This time I picked GANTZ because I remember it being pretty fun in its own way. The perfect manga to just enjoy some gore, murder, fighting, women with big assets, manly men, aliens, more aliens, vampires, aliens that are very big, and for some reason I remember the guy falling into a giant's asshole while he tried to have sex with her, but I skimmed through the last few pages again and could not find it, so I think for some reason I misremembered it. And then there's also philosophy that makes you think, what am I reading here? The game never came out in the West, but the good thing is that it follows the story of the manga for the most part, so even without understanding Japanese you can just read the first 100 chapters and there you go, now you know. Except that this game actually had different choices for you to pick from that changed the way you have to play the missions, how much leader points you get to increase your stuff, what character likes you, or also your ending. Don't worry though, you can just pick random shit and it will work out, like it always does. I believe in your decisions. Our main guy and his childhood friend try to save an ungrateful hobo who fell onto the tracks from getting hit by a train, but well, they couldn't save themselves. They also get beheaded and all that from getting hit, but you don't get to see that here. Somehow they did not actually get killed though, and now they exist as a copy of themselves because they got called to a comfy apartment with a big black ball inside of it. That gives them the mission to get rid of the aliens hiding in our world. There's a guy in the ball and his name is GANTZ, and that's why GANTZ is called GANTZ, because that's his name. At first, like always, the stakes are low. All you have to do is to kill some aliens that look like leeks, and like leeks because leeks are onions, since they're the onion aliens. They make you feel a bit bad for them because they're not really evil, and maybe they also are Tsunemiku fans because of all the leek stuff. And leeks are actually not onions. I shouldn't lie like that or else people will think I'm stupid for real instead of only pretending. In the manga it was just a kiddo and most likely his dad, while here there's a whole army of them because otherwise this mission would be really short, just like him and me. Maybe it's good this way because you don't know what you're doing even when the game shows you what buttons to press, just like in life itself. Your parents will teach you things, but you won't understand all of it till you try them out, even to your death maybe. Will I still say this in 20 years? Or will I have found my purpose by then, just like the purpose of your buttons in the game? You got two buttons to attack with. The Q button is for normal attacks with your main weapon, and the circle is for your fists. But who fists aliens, or in general? One of those things that I never understood. Yes, I'm king shaming. The singular part of the Triforce makes you dodge, and the X makes you jump, nothing mind-blowing. That means you only have one single combo though. Normally these kind of games have weak and strong attacks that you can even mix up, but here you only got the singular, often hated 3 combo attack. There's not even any fancy jump attacks. You can't attack while you're jumping. Plenty of other moves that will make you weak between your legs, like being able to jump over enemies or nutmegging them when you press the dodge button in front of them. Quite cinematic. In levels you often see triangles around that when you activate them, you do certain things with your super form that you can also activate outside of them where you can attack fast and all that stuff. But if you use it on the triangle, they do something cool like you being able to pick up a car and throwing it, or also pushing over pillars that hopefully will hit an enemy. Or punching a wall really hard so that the enemy disappears and reappears without any damage taken, but the wall is broken. Sometimes I'm happy that I wasn't born as an American drywall, or else I would be full of holes. Also, weapons have energy so you can't just spam them, or else you either do no damage or nothing is coming out anymore. Better see a doctor about that. Before every mission you are allowed to pick what weapons you want to use, and why would I ever not pick a katana? Call me a weeb or whatever, but I love them, or normal swords too. I love things that can cut. Luckily I'm not British so I'm allowed to say this. So that leaves a big gun that has delayed shots just like in a manga, where you hit the enemy with it and then after a few seconds it goes bang and does damage. A pretty normal pistol and then also a net pistol that can shoot nets that the enemies get caught in. On the right side you can also pick some gadgets like being able to become invisible for no real reason because it's not really doing anything. You can run away from the enemies but you don't want to run away from them because you want to fight them. Or traps that you can put onto the floor so enemies get netted or take damage from it. I would commit so much theft if I could become invisible. Not to get a new TV or computer, but because it would be funny to see the reaction of people seeing floating things. I'm such a prankster. But you can also pick your friends. If you pick them, they get happy about it, and I would actually be happier if someone would not pick me to go onto a mission where I could easily die. They have different weapons and I like to pick the dog for the joke, but he kinda sucks, so after I only pick the ladies instead. Like the girl from The Ring. That does not exist in the manga. Who would ever pick a guy for this? That's lame. I cry a single tear whenever I play an RPG that has too few girls for me to use, so I have to put a guy onto the team. Who cares about balance? They have different weapons, but they're all kinda dumb anyways. Just pick the girls with the boob physics. I suck at giving orders to others because I'm the one that should be getting ordered around. I like it though. I wish someone else would just control my life and I would never have to do anything on my own. Life would be so much more simple. Probably weak-willed or whatever, but I think that's better than pretending you got free will. We may have it, but we rarely get to use it. You want to eat another person, you are not allowed to even with their consent. You want to shit yourself while playing video games, your mom won't allow it. Simple things like that. Only few people have the real power to do whatever they want and break free. So with L2 or R2 you can give comments to your teammates or to both at the same time if you know how to use your thing as well. Since you can just press both at the same time, the thing is, like I said, the AI is kinda stupid and most of the time you won't even have enough time to use this whole system really. Like on Onion Daddy. He disappears and comes back by throwing cars on you and your teammates will most likely get hit if you tell them to follow you, so you should park them in the corner, but in that time he already threw a couple of cars. The best thing you can do is basically just telling him to shoot or attack, it doesn't really matter. Unless you're scared of dying, I'm sure the game wouldn't just let them die, right? They will come back in the next mission if they bite the dust, right? No, they won't. Your actions have consequences if you let it happen. The thing is, you most likely won't care too much since I never got attached to them in the manga or in the game. They're like the pawns in chess. Useful, but you won't cry when you lose one, even though in chess I would cry because they're pretty damn strong. Only noobs would sacrifice them without a bigger plan. What if they deserve it though? Like Kishimoto who basically cucks you. You let her stay at your place, she even wants to be your pet, and then she only cares about the muscular hunk instead. My heart broken just like that. Time to trash the game for including NTR from the manga. It's not the game's fault, but sorry, I have to pretend that I don't like it, or else people will think I'm really into it. I'm not a cuckold. That's basically the whole game. You go onto a mission, finish it, spend some time with the visual novel kind of aspect, and start the next mission. After 3 hours of that, you're also done. Normally you would think that's it, but for such a fairly simple game, I think the short length works well, especially if you want to get all of the different endings. I do have one big complaint though, because this boss sucks. I wonder if someone at Team Ninja played this game or was a big fan of GANTZ and then thought, you know what, we gotta make Ninja Gaiden 2 worse with our Sigma version and then add this boss from GANTZ the game to our game. You hit the field with the katana, normally I prefer my tongue, and when he bends over you think, time for some cool shit when you can do your extra action, but no, you just punch the fist back without dealing any damage, so I sat there and thought, okay, cool. There's no way to hit the head with the katana because normally you would think I would have to stun it and then climb it up, which would have been cool as fuck, but no, not possible. And the delayed shots of my gun missed so often I thought I was doing something completely wrong, so I looked at a long play and there it was no problem because they actually had members helping them out. Apparently I picked a cool choice that was like, hey guys, I will handle this by myself, so I had to do it all by myself. Which made it more annoying than it had to be, but that's what I always do, I'm a single guy, in multiple ways. Also I think I just stood in the wrong place with the delayed gun to consistently hit the head, so maybe a pure skill issue on my part. Then you also suddenly have to fight Dreamcast aliens who are called the Shorty aliens. Are all Dreamcast owner manlets? Probably not, otherwise I would have owned one. Being short only has positives about it, like fitting through every door, fitting into the trunk of a car when getting kidnapped, and other fun things. And your bros always tease you about it too, if that's your style. The fight against the strongest manlet kinda sucks though, because you always have to first shoot down its shield and then attack with your katana, and it's quite tanky for being such a little manlet. His boss fight is probably the best in the game because it has multiple phases where he kinda throws tables at you or air conditioners that we do not have in German schools, which I'm quite jealous about because summers here get quite hot, so when back in the day I went to school, it fucking sucked. But in Japan you have air conditioning, wow, cool. And then vampires, but the vampires in GANTZ use nanomachines and all that fancy smanchy shit instead of being like real vampires. They also don't get owned by sunlight, so can they even be truly called vampires? Except for this vampire biting you lots so he can heal himself. And you being able to do cool counters. I honestly have no idea how I did them. I think they just happen sometimes, or maybe I got lucky, I don't know. I like how this old man is like a Bomberman character, even though that franchise is more like Bomber Girl nowadays. I wish Konami would make a console game for it. Maybe they just thought it would be funny to include a character that's a vampire who throws bombs because this game was made by Konami. So this might have been foreshadowing that they wanted to take Bomberman into a more edgy approach. After this fight the game also ends, because they went out of things to adapt since that's what happened back in the day to games and anime. One day we surely will get a remake of Soul Eater, right? Even if that ending in the manga also kinda sucked. I just wanna see more of Blair again. I also got the most basic ending, I'm vanilla like that. I think it fits it the best though. Ending up with a normal girl instead of a supermodel or some girl that will cheat on you. A totally normal relationship with no aliens. Boring, but isn't that sometimes better? It's a bit sad when you know the full story behind it, because you only asked this girl out as a punishment for losing at the game of life, a game we all know too well. In the manga it didn't make sense to me because she was cute and normal, not a super duper looker, so why did the other boys think it was a punishment to go on a date with her? In the game it makes a bit more sense since she's a bit on the heftier side, sorry to say. I checked for the other endings and now I can be a nerd and tell this person who wrote the guide that you can actually let someone die to still get this ending. But they went through the trouble to get most of them, so I respect them too much to call it a mistake. I would never be able to beat this game that often, with so many different routes you have to pick. Maybe the person behind it wanted to see all the game has to offer because look at this. Sometimes depending on what you do or choose, you get different art unlocked and every single piece of them is fan service. Before I checked through them I thought okay, there will be at least one piece of concept art or anything like that, right? Again, wrong. Ass and tits everywhere, just like how it should be. If I were a young teenager again, this would have been enough for me to get 100%, and if it was in English. Men like me are simple creatures sometimes. If you don't want to collect fan service, you can then collect titles instead that you can get by only using a specific weapon for your playthrough, turning yourself into the worst leader and things like that. There's also a free play mode where, you can do whatever you want and try out things, but well, it's a free play mode if you want that. It's not exactly a great game, but it's decently enough for me and I love these kind of games in their own special way. Like a parent who knows their kid is not the smartest, the cutest, or anything good in general, but you can't help but love it anyways. With all the rough edges that will make you wonder why. Why didn't I just play a better game? Because better doesn't always mean better. Sometimes a bad game is better than a good game. This is the kind of game that would benefit from a remake or a new version of it, making everything more smooth, adding more content and depth, and also translated. But I don't think GANTZ is big enough for that anymore to ever happen, and in general these somewhat bad but also fun adaptations are a thing of the past, sadly. Unless you want a gacha game or bad fighting games. With that said, I hope you enjoyed the video and will have a good day, a good night, or whatever fits your time zone. I love aliens, and I would never kill them because that's not nice. So if any alien is watching this video, all I can say is that I do not stand for what the game teaches to us humans, and please go on a date with me. Even though the whole manga does that too, because it turns into the typical hehe, you humans don't care about killing ants, so why should we hyper-developed aliens care about not killing humans since you are just bugs to us too, hehe. Third grade philosophy. Bye bye.